Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the infotainment breakdown on the 2024 Kia EV9 and its two 12.3-inch displays. In this video, we're going to show you how to use the gauge cluster, how to use the infotainment touchscreen, how to pair up a phone, use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the voice commands, and try to answer any questions you might have about your new car. And before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. All new for 2024, the Kia EV9. Hopefully I don't accidentally call it EV6 at all through the review. It is possible, but a lot to like about this midsize crossover here from Kia. Fully electric, this one is the GT line model, so we're getting all the bells and whistles. I've really enjoyed having it so far, and we're going to be doing a lot of videos. We've got a sound test on the 14-speaker Meridian audio system. I'm getting it charged up and topped off right now for our range test later tonight. And of course, we'll have a full review, so check the link below for all of those. First things first, this isn't going to be necessarily an entirely comprehensive breakdown on every single little submenu in the touchscreen, but more kind of some of the interesting features, some of the things you might want to know about your car, you might need to do. And also, if you recently purchased an EV6 or EV9 or any new vehicle, I highly recommend you spend some time, play around in the driveway, mess around with things, maybe read your owner's manual or watch a video like this and get to know your vehicle, be comfortable with it, because you'll enjoy owning it more. First off, right in front of us, you can see this big 12.3-inch display showing us information right now because we're charging. It's showing me the remaining time up there, the range, and our percentage in the middle, and still getting some information. We're getting our charge rate down in the bottom in kilowatts. But if I press this menu over here, first of all, quick side note, look at all these nice physical buttons here. I'm glad we don't have any haptic controls or anything like that. But press this button to get to our normal screens, and then we get some information about sort of our driving information. So how efficient we've been since charging and resetting, sort of how much range and tire pressure we've got in the vehicle, and our current trip information. If we press this screen menu button again, we get to a navigation screen. Press it one more time, and you get a driver's information screen. So that would show us if there were cars in front of us, or some of our active safety, that sort of deal. And press it once more, and we get back to our trip information. And then since we're charging, after a moment, that's going to go away and bring up the charging screen once more. Other buttons on the steering wheel, we've got our cruise control over here on the left, including the following distance adjustment, resume, up, down for the speed. This button gets us through the different menus on the center screen there. And then this one activates our active steering control. Over here on the right, we've got voice commands up on the top right. Change the audio system mode, a hotkey button, so you can customize this for a lot of different features. If we hold it, we can get it for, well, look at all these. Okay, so there's a lot of different options that you can set to have this button do quickly, and I like that. I like that you have that. Right now it's set up so when you press it, it brings up the electric vehicle screen there in the center. And then if you press this, it goes right to Bluetooth on your mobile. Starts pairing a phone apparently, but it would go to your phone if it were paired up. And then on the bottom, you can change your drive modes, nice place for that, and then lock the four-wheel drive system. Way over here on the left, you have the ability to open up the charge door, open up the front, open up the trunk, turn off your traction and stability control, adjust the brightness for your screen, and set the parking brake. Moving over to the center display, again, I gotta give Kia credit right off the bat here for making nice physical controls down here, physical volume adjustment, physical temperature adjustment, and fan speed control, and then some semi-physical buttons, if you will, for getting to kind of main areas of your touchscreen. I really like that they did that. And then not only that do we have these physical controls for climate, but over here on the left, you actually see a little 5-inch screen that's dedicated to your climate controls. So you see if I adjust the temperature down here, it shows me up there. I can adjust where the fans are blowing right from there. I like that. I can adjust the fan speed. I can click here to adjust the rear settings, and some hotkeys right here for turning things like AC on and off and defroster, etc. That's such a nifty way to do it. It's even though it might not look like as good of a utilization of space as something like the EV6, I like having a physical control right here, and then the ability to do more with the climate right there without having to change what's on my center touchscreen. This center screen is a bit far away, though, I will say that. We don't have any sort of rotary control or anything like that, so I do have to, here's, if I were driving along full arm extension, I'm still way away from the screen, so I gotta reach way off the back of my seat there to get up and make adjustments to the screen. Also, I haven't been able to find a way to turn it into more of a bright mode. We're in this kind of night mode right now, and it doesn't seem like there is a way to turn it yeah, I'm not seeing a way to turn it into a brighter screen. And I will say Kia needs to do a little bit better job at their contrast differentiation, because you see, like right here, for example, these are all different tiles, they're different applications, but you can hardly see the differentiation between them. So I'd like to see a little more clear delineation between the different menu icons. But looking at the screen, we've got a clock up in the upper right, date up in the top, and then up here gives you a little bit of a menu. Anytime you see these three lines, it's called a hamburger menu. That's going to give you different functionality options. I believe if you pull down anywhere, then you get a quick control. This is nice. It gives you the ability to turn the display off. Maybe you want it a little easier on your eyes driving at night. Tap the screen to bring it back on. And again, this is really, really clever on their part. Quick ways to get to the brightness of both screens. That's nice. Which, again, you still have a physical control. I love that you still have a physical control for it in case, you know, that you want to do it that way. But you can do it from within the screen as well, or turn on the auto brightness. It's nice to have that option as well. And right here, you can change the volume for your different navigation sounds, navigation voice.
Guidance will be at this volume.
Guidance, that's nice.
Guidance will be at this volume.
You can also turn on off your passenger talk. So this, if it's on, now you can hear an echo. That's because it's picking up my voice in a microphone and transmitting it to the rear speakers. So if you're driving people around or talking to your children, you can talk to them that way and maybe not have to yell quite as much over the road noise. Then you have a quick toggle for quiet mode. This is nice. This is going to limit the volume of everything to their lowest levels. So if you got a kid sleeping in the back, you enable quiet mode, and you're not going to have to worry about all of a sudden a navigation prompt coming through too loud. And if you press that gear icon up in the top right, you can change some of the icons that are in your quick control menu. On the main screen, these are kind of bigger tiles that you're going to use more frequently. So things like your map, things like your media, and your EV screen. But then if you slide on over to the right, you get other tiles and other functionality. We'll go through all those here in a minute. And then with these physical controls, you got home, map, search. I don't know how, yeah, I guess that could be useful. Media, another one of these hotkey buttons. I like that Kia has that. And then the setup menu. Let's take a look at the built-in navigation. Now, admittedly, the vehicle with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, I'm almost exclusively going to be using Google Maps, but it is nice to have a built-in map service here. Oftentimes, I use the vehicle's built-in navigation maps just for a map, not even doing route guidance, but just showing me what streets are around. You never know when you're pulling into a business or driveway or something, you're like, I can't remember, where was the entrance? And the map right here might help you out with that. And, of course, you can throw in a destination and it'll help you charge to get there. So let's say we want to go to, let's go to Seattle. Seattle, Washington. $994 miles away. Let's see if it shows us charging stops. Set as destination. The battery capacity may be insufficient to reach your destination. Would you like to stop at an EV charging station? Yes. Charging is required. Search for EV stations. Yes. Okay, so including the charging stations, it's going to take me about 24 hours to get there. Okay. All right, fair enough. I mean, I think they're pretty confident in it, although it is interesting. Is it putting me... So it's got charging stations all the way throughout California, but it doesn't have anything planned in Oregon or Washington. I hope it's going to get to that at some point, because I can't make it the last 618 miles. Interesting. Okay. If we don't include charging stations, how long would it take us? 24 hours versus 19 hours. Okay, so an extra 5 hours in there for charging. Okay, so let's bring it back home. Go over to our media screen. Like I said, you can see a dedicated breakdown of the the sound system in the link below, but this will show you kind of your different inputs. So your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, or USB, Amazon Music. Of course, we have the sounds of nature. Oh my gosh, they're always adding new sounds of nature. We have so many now. Holy cow. All right, let's start off. Lively Forest, that's a classic. On a sailing ship. Now, it does sound like it's taking advantage of the 5.1 surround capability here in the EV9. That's fun. How about City at Dawn? Now, they're really taking liberty with these sounds of nature, because first of all, the city's not nature, and also that guitar or whatever is playing is also not nature. Experience the universe. Is the universe nature? That one's a bit of a debate. Rainy day, that's a classic. Moment of meditation. That's kind of nature-y. Oh, gong, not nature. Harbingers of spring. Harbingers of spring? That one's kind of nice. A summer night's rest. That's not nature at all, Kia. Autumn sentiments. That does sound autumny, doesn't it? Oh, a little bit of a minor chord there. Some resolution. Warmth in winter. Whoa! Those crack me up so much. They really do. Alright, let's bring it back here. So there's your media screen. You can get to your sound settings by clicking the hamburger menu and bringing up sound settings. Take it back to the home and go over to your EV screen. This is going to show you, I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time here because I find some of these to be important. So you have these 4 menus down on the bottom. And this main one, this leaf screen that we're on first, showing your percentage, your remaining time, your range, and then the ability to adjust your maximum charging limit. If you're driving this car daily, you might want to have that limited at about 90% in order to extend the longevity of your battery. Then you can slide over and you see some nearby charging stations and battery conditioning mode. You're going to want to activate that if your battery is on the cold side and you're coming up to an electric vehicle DC fast charger and you want to be able to put more juice in more quickly. The battery needs to be warmed up, so you can activate that. And if the vehicle were just on and not charging, we could see which elements of the vehicle were using different amounts of electricity. I like having that. It can show you how much your AC or your lights are using, etc. Then over here on the bar screen, we can see, again, what's using our electricity, and our history of sort of how economically we've been driving on various drives. Next screen are charging settings. So this could be so you could actually set the vehicle to not start charging until a certain time, or you could set it up so that you want the climate control to be at a certain level at a certain time. Say you want to leave the house at 8 in the morning and you want the vehicle to be 72 degrees inside, you can have it set up for that. AC charging, you can change a few important options here. I like that Kia's given this to you. You can schedule your charging to be off-peak, which if you can't do that with your charger, might be good to do that with your car. And you can also change the charging current. Now this might be important. Say you're plugged into a wall outlet of an older house, maybe a rental or your parents' house or something like that. It's got some older wiring. You don't want to be cranking it at 100% the whole time and kind of running their wiring hot. Maybe you only run it at 90, a little bit less, or 60 if you just need kind of that trickle and maintenance sort of charge. And you can also adjust how you want the charge connector to be locked. So right now it's locked while charging, and that'll keep people from walking up and just unlocking the charger and taking it out while you're charging it up. Charging limit, again, right here, not only can you set the charge limit for both a DC fast charger and an AC slower charger, but I've always liked this. It'll show you how long it'll take to reach that charging limit in hours and minutes right here. So it says it's going to take 1 hour and 40 minutes to charge up to 100% with this AC charger. But if I plugged into a DC fast charger here, then it'll finish the job in 5 minutes. That's pretty cool. All right, and then electric use settings V to L. This vehicle has a plug in the back of the car, and probably one back here as well. It's just a wall style outlet. You can charge things up with it, and you can turn that functionality off once the battery gets down to a certain percentage that you set here. So a lot of nifty settings in the EV screen. Sliding across, we get the phone menu. We'll show you that after we pair up a phone. Same with phone projection. Voice memo, this is nice to have if you're driving along and you think of something and you want to not text and drive because that's dangerous and probably illegal. You can simply start a voice memo and leave a message for yourself. A seats screen, and this is nifty because you can turn the heated and ventilated seats on or off for the second row, or you can fold and unfold the second row. This is nice. Which one is which? I guess it'd be, yeah. And then you can see that starting to fold my shirt down right there. You could stop it, put it back up. Under weather, Kia's given you some weather information. Pretty straightforward there. Nice to have. We'll get to the setup screen here in a moment. Valet mode, you can put in a 4-digit code, and then when you give the vehicle the valet, it'll actually track how far it was driven, how fast it was driven, and for how long. And you should be able to limit the things that they can see and use within the screen. Vehicle diagnostics, if you had something going wrong with your car, a low tire, or needed maintenance or something, then it should be able to tell you in the vehicle diagnostics. Same under maintenance, right here, it'll tell you when you need to get it serviced. Looks like we've got almost 1,400 miles left until its next service. That's pretty awesome. HD radio data is going to give you some traffic and radar information based on HD radio. And an online manual at the very end is probably just a QR code to scan with your phone. Yep. Let's dive into setup now. We'll go through some of the important settings. Under vehicle, you can turn some of the driver assistance features on or off. If there's something that maybe you like to change lanes without using your signal and the car is aggravating you by yelling at you every time you do that, you can turn that functionality off. Some different drive mode settings, and you can adjust how aggressive the braking feel is. Active sound design, there's actually a few different ways to get to this menu, but if you have this on, it's going to provide a fake engine note, if you will, as you accelerate. It doesn't sound like an engine, it sounds like kind of a whirring, whooshing sensation, but typically I just like to have that off, nice and peaceful. Some different climate settings, some different seat settings, including the ergo motion seat. So this car, after you've been sitting in the seat for over an hour, it's going to start to adjust the lumbar and make it so it kind of moves you around and vitalizes your body up a little bit. Also, use lumbar stabilization system while driving. Actually, where is that? Somewhere in here, there might be a setting for it, but if you get over a certain speed, or if you put the car in sport mode, the lumbar or the side bolsters actually tighten up on you. Under lights, you can adjust the ambient lighting in the vehicle. You can't really see it now here, but maybe real subtly under there, you can change some of the colors. So that's definitely fun. You have the ability to choose pretty much all different colors of the rainbow, or some multicolor functionality as well. That's kind of cool. Wonderful day, mind care, creative moment. Goofy. You can have some settings for automatically locking or unlocking the doors. I definitely like having that, being able to just walk away and have it lock. Digital keys, this is definitely nice. If you have it set up with your phone, you should be able to use your smartphone as a key for the EV9. Definitely a nice feature to have. Under convenience, you can turn it on or off to alert you whether you might have left a rear occupant in there, or maybe even a bag in the rear seat. You can turn on or off the wireless device charger. Now coming back out to the main setup screen, let's go into EV. All right, this is giving us some of the EV settings, so then some of your battery conditioning settings. Smart regeneration, so as you're driving along, if smart regen is on and there's a car in front of you slowing down, it's going to regen and adapt to that car in front of you. Oh, this is also a nice feature that the Kias have, a voice alert for when you start charging the vehicle. It'll actually say, charging started outside, and sometimes that can be really loud, so you can turn that down or off if you don't like it. Navigation settings, if you're somebody who does like to use their built-in vehicle navigation regularly, I would recommend going to those settings. You can adjust different preferences for the nav. Your sound settings, that's where you're going to adjust your front, rear, left, right, fader, and valence, and your treble, mid-range, and bass. Device connections, that's going to be how you adjust which devices are connected to the car via Bluetooth or cable. User profile, this is actually kind of nice. You're going to want to set up a profile for yourself, and then if there are any other drivers that use the vehicle regularly, you can set one up for them, and you can have their climate control settings set for each individual driver. You can have it linked up to a key, have your radio presets, kind of follow the driver, etc., and your digital key. Voice recognition, if you're somebody who uses the voice recognition a lot and you don't want to hear all the prompts each time, you can check that to reduce the number of voice recognition prompts. Under screen layout, you have a few different gauge cluster options, and we're not actually going to be able to see them now, I don't think. Oh yeah, here we go. There's style A, style B, and style C. Or you can just have it linked up to be going with the drive mode. Under display, again, another way to adjust the display brightness, and you can turn on a blue light filter. So if it's nighttime, then it'll filter out some of the blue light, make it a little easier on your eyes. Buttons, this is going to be a way to customize those two star buttons in the vehicle, as well as change Interesting. You can change the functionality of the volume to, rather than being volume and power, it's to zoom the map in and out. Oh, and browse media, so you can actually have it change tracks as well. Touch button sensitivity. Okay, so a good amount of functionality there. Cluster and head-up display. Another way to change the cluster theme, also the brightness, also what you see in the gauge cluster. And you can customize whether you want the car to make its welcome sound when you get in and turn it on. Some people might find that annoying. They might want to have that off. And you got some adjustability for your head-up display and the ability to turn it on or off as well. Lastly, if we scroll over to the side, we get a general settings. This is just going to be your date and time settings, different languages that you can choose from, different keyboard settings, the ability to change units. Maybe if you drive in a different country and you want to go over to kilometers or Celsius or bar, you can do that. And then lastly, at the very bottom under reset, if you go to sell your EV9, you're going to want to reset everything, clear out your personal data. All right, let's show you how to pair up a phone. I've got an Android phone right here, and we're going to bring it to the Bluetooth screen on the phone. And in the car, I'm going to slide over until I get to phone.
Turn Bluetooth on in your mobile
And then it goes into Bluetooth pairing mode, and I
On
scroll
your
all the way to
device,
the bottom.
select the name that
I
matches
see
the image on the
EV9 on my
screen.
phone, and pair that. And I'm going to accept anything that comes through on the phone as well as on the car. And I'm going to have it go straight to Android Auto right now so we can show that. But let's see. Yep, press continue. Now we've got Android Auto coming up, but I'm going to go home first, and we're going to see if we can get to the phone screen. Okay, yeah, so here in the phone screen, this would be if I didn't want to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I just wanted to use the phone via Bluetooth, I could use the screen for making phone calls, dialing in numbers, and I could see my contacts right in there and send text messages as well. But let's open up Android Auto. And you can see it taking up the whole screen, looking really nice there. Decent resolution. Got this split screen layout with my maps and my music. If I bring up full screen Google Maps, and pinch and zoom, move around there. That's nice to have. Then here is our YouTube music. An error has occurred. Okay, well, I'm supposed to be able to have some songs. I need to, I guess, check the downloaded songs on my phone there. But that's how your Android Auto is going to look, and you can get back home by either bringing up your app screen and choosing the Kia, or simply just pressing home. All right, I actually left my iPhone at home, so I'm going to drop footage in right here. Okay, we've both teleported and time traveled, and we have our trusty iPhone SE3. And for Apple CarPlay, I'm just going to plug in directly. We're going to see how quickly it takes over. Let's see what sort of prompts we get. Open the iPhone. All right, I get right away CarPlay. Do you want to enable it? Yes. Disconnect the Pixel 8 Pro. Yes. We're going to use USB only CarPlay. And there we have it. Coming up nice and large, taking up the whole screen. I will say that resolution is pretty large. And there's pros and cons to that. It doesn't look fantastic, but it does make the icons very easy to click. Let's bring up our Google Maps. Here we are again. Yeah, I'm not loving that resolution just because, yeah, it's easy to see, but you're not being able to fit much on the screen then. So if I zoom out, yeah, it's just a lot of bold and large font there. Let's go home, bring up YouTube Music. Let's see what the iPhone's playing for us today on the Super Mix. Some Young Gravy, taking it back. All right. So there's how your home screen's going to look with your navigation and your media going on the right. And then again, to get back to the home, you can just press home. It's the easiest way to do it. Okay, before we wrap things up, let's test out some voice commands. I don't believe we have a wake word in this car, so we just press this button, toggle voice. What's the weather like today?
There will be partly sunny skies with showers with a high of 62 degrees and a low of 47 degrees in Lake Forest today.
That's pretty good. Navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
Please say the line number of the location you want to go to.
1.
Would you like guidance to this location?
Yes. So definitely not as fluid as we've seen on other voice commands system, but again, most people are probably just using Google Maps and Apple Maps, so Kia's probably not putting a whole bunch of effort into their navigation. I don't blame them. Cancel navigation.
Turn Bluetooth off.
Cancel navigation.
Route canceled.
Can it do climate controls? Set the climate control to 63 degrees.
Please say that again.
Set the temperature to 63 degrees.
Setting the temperature to 63 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, alright, so, good amount of functionality there. And there it is, the tech suite here in the EV9. Like I said, just a few little nitpicks regarding the placement of the screen, but overall, I've been really happy using it. I think you will be as well. Is there anything that I didn't get to that you were looking for? Let me know. I'll try to answer it here in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.